It's it's been a journey, but I'm also very blessed to come from a family of educators, and my mom played a big part in that in particular. And I noticed very early on some key indicators that he wasn't meeting, and the first one was eye contact, the lack of eye contact. So my journey's been a pretty hard one as a mom, because we are often accused of being very helicopter mom, always trying to find something wrong. But for me, with my child, I noticed that something was different, and I went into fix it mode, and I wanted to fix what had happened. I wanted to understand how I needed to help my son. At about 12 months old, then I first noticed some of the key ones, which is the lack of eye contact. And then I started to see a few things, and I spoke to my mother and I said, look, Mom, I'm a bit worried, I'm seeing some things. And she said, look, he's a child, he's only 12 months. Observe for another 12 months, and then let's see where we land with that one. I observed for another 12 months, and she said, here's a list of a few things. If he ticks more than 5, then your child may have autism. I need you to sit down when I tell you this. The hardest thing for me to hear on that one was, the first thing my mother said about it was, there's no cure. And for me, reality set in at that point, because we'd observed him for another 12 months, so he was now 2. We didn't get him diagnosed until 2.5. And that was more so because my husband, I had to convince him. It took me 6 months to convince him that, look, we needed to get him screened. It needed to be something we did together. My first session is probably the most impactful session. The doctor didn't see my son or my husband, he spoke to me. And as a mom, the first thing he said was, this is not your fault. That's what I needed to hear at that time in particular. And it's one of the things I wanted to talk about today when we came into Frank Hilton, was the journey of us as mothers, because we bear the brunt of it. When my child was diagnosed, the first thing you start to think of is, what have I done wrong? What did I eat? One thing that was said to me was like, oh, you did so much Zumba, you're always exercising, you should have kept still, you did something. And one of the things I wanted to share with the moms here in particular is, you did nothing wrong. This isn't your fault. Neurological things happen. Children develop differently. There's nothing wrong with our children. They just think differently, and the process is different for them in particular. Yeah. With a village, I have an amazing support system. One of the things we were told as parents was, I can help your child, but you as a couple are going to need some help. And I'm blessed that my husband has come on this journey. We have been on this journey together, and we are each other's biggest support system. We also have an amazing family that we've brought along on that journey with us, to help us, because our support system matters. We're giving constantly to our children. One of the things we always have to be conscious of is, we have 4 children. He is one of those 4. And we need to make sure we distribute our love evenly. Our eldest child has called us out on it. He said, everything is for Kayele, why is it only for Kayele? And we have to explain to him, but at the same time, he's checking on us to remind us, there's 3 other children. You can't sacrifice your love for the 3 just because of the 1. And for us, that's the big thing. And we always talk about a support system, and we have to have that support, whether it's your parents, your friends, but your spouses. I'm lucky, my spouse is with me. The 2 of us are on this journey together. Not all moms have been as lucky, and we try to help those moms that haven't been. There's a lot we can do. I think we've started by awareness. We've come a long way as a country. It's the first time I saw a big autism awareness poster in all the years we've been doing our advocacy work. I think our big one is find ways that we can better support our people, our children, and their development. It really starts early childhood, because early intervention is so important, but also counseling services for our families who now have to deal with this news, and better supporting the services that already exist, like organizations like Frank Hilton. But that's a big one for me, is how do we better support our people? And the main one is, if we're looking at the early childhood intervention, but in terms of education systems, our educators are sensitizing our healthcare workers, our customer service representatives around how you deal with children as well as adults who potentially have autism, and understanding that. But like I said, we've come a long way as a country. There's a lot of awareness now. But now what? That awareness now needs to translate into some actions, and I think education is going to be a big one, as well as healthcare and policy. I think for every parent is, be strong, and really look for your support. But for most parents, I think what I really would like to say to a lot of parents is reach out and ask for help. We do what we do as parents. We've been advocates because we had to go through a lot of this alone. We don't want a parent to go through it alone. That was hard. We've got support groups now. We've got people reach out to us, but do not be afraid to ask for help. And sometimes as parents, you have that gut instinct. You know there's something. Listen to your gut, because you know your child. No one knows your child better than you do, and no one is a better advocate for your child better than you are.